Welcome back to Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown and your first look at customization gameplay. In this video, I'm going to show you everything about TDU Solar Crown customization, from the performance customization, the visual customization, the brand new paint booth and livery editor, and even show off all of the new drive modes that you can choose for your vehicle. But that's not all, because earlier today we also got the biggest news drop for TDU Solar Crown that shows off a brand new car that I don't think I've ever seen in another video game before. And we also got a ton of information about the different race modes and like the race types in TDU Solar Crown. And in today's video, I'm going to tell you everything. Buckle in. Let's start things off though by talking about the race types in TDU Solar Crown, because these will come into effect when we're talking about the customization. So let's start with this. The main thing shown off in this new trailer is called an instant challenge, which is essentially a 1v1. As you're driving around Hong Kong Island, you will come across other players, real players playing the game, and you can challenge them to a 1v1 head-to-head race where you're starting where you are and the finish line is in a random destination. What's really cool about these 1v1s is you can actually wager your money against that other driver. So if you see me driving around the world in like a Mini Cooper and you're driving like a hypercar, you'll probably want to go all in and see if you can take me down. So you can wager different amounts, which is really cool. As you're driving around the open world though, you'll come across dedicated racing events though, where you can challenge more than just one player. There's all sorts of different races in this game though, like circuit, sprints, time attack, domination races, which basically means you have to hit the checkpoints fast as like a team to earn points and so on. Very cool. The coolest thing of all is the developers have confirmed that popular game modes from TDU 2 will be coming to TDU Solar Crown post-launch. They didn't say which ones just yet, but I'm gonna be keeping fingers crossed for that speed camera mission. That's gotta be one of my favorite game modes in any racing game. The like destination missions where you had to not damage the vehicles, and of course elimination races. I really hope all three of those are coming in more as well. The big thing the developers spoke about in this news drop though was the live events that are gonna be going on every single week and every single season in Hong Kong Island. Every week, the Streets and the Sharps are gonna go head to head in what's called a lifestyle battle. And the team that wins more of the challenges will win overall. There are 5 challenges that you can take part in. Let me read them out. The team that wins the most amount of instant challenges, those 1v1s, they're gonna get 1 point. The team that spends the most amount of money is going to get 1 point. The team that makes the most amount of money is going to get 1 point. The team that earns the most credits from Frim is going to get 1 point. And the team that earns the most credits from instant challenge bets is also going to get 1 point. It's kind of like a best of 5. Whichever team wins more challenges will win overall. It's a really cool idea and sounds pretty fun, honestly. There's also 2 smaller live events that are going to be going on every single day that can earn you a bunch of money. There's an event called a Hotheads Challenge, which is a random point-to-point race that will spawn in every single day. You can go and try the point-to-point as many times as you want, and the faster you finish, the higher up on the leaderboard you'll go, and the more money you'll get from finishing higher up. Sounds really cool. The second one, though, might be even cooler. This one is called a high stakes challenge. Every 24 hours, one of the events in the game is going to swap over to a high stakes challenge. What that means is on that event, there will be a set score or set time that you need to beat. Here's the twist, though. You only have 3 tries to beat it. But here's the double twist, though, because you actually need to pay an entrance fee to try the event. And here's the coolest thing of all. If you can beat that set score or the set time, at the end of the day, you will earn part of the pot from that high stakes event from that day, which is so cool. If you lose your money. If you win the money from all the losers and all of your previous attempts. It's really, really cool. That sounds so sick. Okay, and now we can jump into the customization. But as we're talking about all of the customization in this game, keep in mind some of those game modes that I was mentioning, specifically the 1v1. If we jump into a 1v1 together and the finish line happens to be off-road, you're probably going to want a car that can go off-road. So keep that in mind as we're talking about these upgrades, because it might influence how you want to build your car. Let's jump into it though, and let's start it off with the car presets. Every single car is going to come with different presets that you can go and choose. These presets are going to make your cars better at some things and make them worse at other things. You can go and choose different modes like factory, sport, trail, dynamic, off-road, circuit racing, and even a relaxed driving setup, which is pretty cool. Let's jump into the customization though, and let's start it off with the performance customization. The developers absolutely sped through this part of the trailer, so I've gone in and I've slowed it down so you can take in every little detail. Feel free to pause this video at any point to see some of this customization in more detail, obviously. Let's jump into it though. These menus immediately are laid out super nicely. They're super organized and easy to understand. The performance customization is broken up into different sections like the engine, brakes and suspension, the gearbox, the aero, and the tires, and the ECU. In the engine, that's where you're going to upgrade your horsepower from things like the air filter, the exhaust, the spark plugs, and so on. In the brakes and suspension, you've got all of your usual stuff. You can upgrade your brakes so you slow down a little quicker. And the suspension, you can lower down your vehicle, but you can also raise it up with off-road suspension. You might want to use that if you're racing to a finish line that you don't know where it is. The gearbox customization is pretty interesting because this is not broken down into like good, better, best sort of thing. This one's actually broken down into where you're going to be racing. This one's broken down into like the gear ratios that you're going to want from short to medium to long, depending on where you're going to want to race. If you're driving around a small, tight racetrack, you're going to want a short gearbox. And if you're driving around a racetrack with a bunch of straight lines, you're going to want a longer gearbox so you can hit higher top speed. You can also upgrade the aero for your vehicle by adding in roll cages to your car to make them stiffer so they can go around corners nicer. But you can also give them aero kits to reduce the drag that your vehicle has, again, so they can go faster in a straight line. You can also modify your tires in here from stock tires to semi-slicks to full racing slicks. And yes, there are also off-road tires in here. And yes, you can also put them on a Corvette ZR1. And last but not least, you can also upgrade your ECU, essentially your car's computer, and upgrade that to build more horsepower. One thing you might have noticed though is the parts are kind of broken down from like a stock level part to a race level part. Those race level parts only unlock at level 45. If you want to put a race level part on your car, you are going to need to be a certain character level. In this case, level 45, if you want to get the best stuff. Unlike other games, though, it's all about your character level. Once you've got it for one car, you've got it for all cars, which is awesome. I'm sure you've noticed, though, as we've been putting all of these parts on the car, these bars have all been changing. Your acceleration, your top speed, your handling, and your braking. But so is your performance rating. The developers have already made it really clear that for the races that I was mentioning earlier, some of those races are going to have really relaxed rules. They might just say, hey, show up to the race in a car with like performance rating 600, for example. That's it. Some of those races, though, might be super, super strict and be like, hey, show up in a car, performance rating level 600, is rear wheel drive only, is from the year 2000 to 2010, and is like a daily driver car. And you've got to find a car that fits all of those things, which is really, really cool. So you're definitely going to be coming back to this upgrade shop to change and modify your car all the time. We've also got to talk about the visual customization for these cars, though. Now, don't start expecting anything like major wide bodies or swapping out rear wings and so on. TDU has never had that sort of stuff. And if they were going to have it in TDU Solar Crown, they probably would have showed it off in this trailer, and they didn't. What is in there, though, is a brand new paint booth with a brand new livery editor that allows you to truly go in and paint your cars any way you like. You can also go in and customize the wheels. You can actually see wheels in this trailer from KMC and Black Rhino, which funnily enough is actually the same wheels that I have on my real life Ford Raptor. And you can see my actual wheels in this trailer, which is really cool. Shout out to TDU. Well done. And last but not least, you can also tint your windows in TDU Solar Crown. Now, there was one more thing I wanted to talk about in this video, and that was that manufacturer. We haven't seen this manufacturer in TDU Solar Crown just yet, and that is W Motors, the maker of the Lykan Hypersports that you're probably familiar with. Now, the car I'm going to talk about isn't the Lykan Hypersport. It's this. This is the this car. It's the Finier Super Sports, which is kind of like the Lykan Hypersports 2.0. It's a very, very cool car, and if you weren't paying attention, you probably missed it. I did, like, the first couple times I watched this, I'm not gonna lie. Regardless, though, I am super excited. I haven't seen this thing, I don't think ever, in a video game, so I'm excited to jump into it, drive it around, and customize it with this TDU customization. So there you go. That's everything you need to know. Are you hyped for TDU Solar Crown? We still don't have a release date, but it should be coming out early next year. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.